A man named Frank is sitting in a coffee shop staring at an odd picture of a tree when two agents arrive and shoot him. He wakes up in a futuristic chamber and does not recall how he got there or what his purpose might be. He walks around when he hears a voice coming from camera that is directly staring at him. He starts to ask questions, thinking that a man is watching him through the camera. The man states that his name is Howard and asks Frank for his name. This shows that Howard is just as clueless as Frank. Despite realizing this, Frank still asks questions about why he is here and what this place even is. Howard claims that he has no information regarding this and only has one job, which is keeping him alive. After knowing that he has to figure all of this out by himself, Frank gets up and sees a machine that is installed in this chamber. The second he stares at this machine, he wakes up back in his own bed, and it will later be revealed why this happened. He again ends up in this chamber and wonders how he got there, so he sits there thinking about nothing. Howard asks him what he wants because he can provide coffee, juices, and various foods. Frank starts tweaking and tripping balls because no one is able to provide any answers as to why he is here. All he gets to know is that he is being processed for something and that he has to stay here until someone comes and gets him. We then see him waking up and going about his day again, where he dresses up and feeds his dog. He is then holding a flash drive that contains something crucial, which is revealed later on. When he leaves, he finds himself waking up in this chamber again. This time he just sits down on a chair nearby and decides to just calmly talk to the man who communicates through this camera. Howard tells Frank where he is from and what his job here exactly is, while also getting information about Frank. Later on, while Frank is asleep, he again gets a vision about the same day. He wakes up and asks Howard for a glass of water when he notices through the camera that Frank has urinated on the floor. Howard advises him to ask for things next time, as he opens a door that leads to a nice bathroom. While he is in there, Howard somehow cleans the entire room, implying that he can manage to open the doors and have someone or some machine clean the room. Once again, when he sleeps, he repeats the same day, and this time he goes to a coffee shop where he meets a woman named Gabby. When he wakes up, he eats some food when he notices that Howard keeps repeating the same things when asked a question again and again. This is not a human-like trait, so Frank realizes that he has been talking to an AI computer all this time. Realizing this, he freaks out once again and starts yelling at him to get a real person in there, so he can get some answers about why they're keeping him here. Howard again says that he does not have any knowledge and can only help by providing what he needs to stay alive. After some time, he again sees a vision where he goes and meets Gabby, but this time they talk more, and he is particularly intrigued by a picture of a tree hanging on the wall. Gabby makes small talk with him while taking his coffee order, and when she charges him, a buzzer goes off. Once that happens, the agents come and shoot him in the back with electric guns. Frank wakes up at night and realizes that the machine in the wall is what's causing him to repeat the same day again and again in his head. He goes closer to the machine and stares at it while he starts to get more visions. He sees himself in the coffee shop again, where he's intrigued by the picture of the tree while Gabby makes small talk. The second she charges him for the coffee, they arrive and shoot him again. He wakes up in the chamber, already sick of repeating this day again and again. He tells Howard about this dream, explaining that he thinks that the machine in the wall is causing all of this. Then, while eating his food, Howard wonders why the government facility that's holding Frank hasn't told him anything. Frank talks to him some more and convinces Howard to help him break out as they come up with a plan. They come with a plan that Frank will try to break the camera so that someone might come in to fix him. He explains that there's another machine that comes in during emergencies or to clean up, and when it opens the door to enter, Frank can try to escape. Once he hits Howard and turns it off for a moment, the automated programming of this chamber releases gas that knocks Frank out before they open the door. When he is knocked out this time, he again goes to the coffee shop, but his memory is altered this time. He realizes that since he talked more to Gabby, she didn't charge him for the coffee, so no one alerted the agents. After talking for a while, she asks him to help her close up the shop. While doing that, he goes under the counter and tells her to charge him for the coffee now. When she does, someone else's IDP number shows up, and they come to arrest him, mistaking that person for Frank. He wakes up and realizes that all of this is a misunderstanding and that they have the wrong man arrested. Howard claims that this simply isn't possible because the IDP number can't be mistaken with someone else's. He instead suggests that since these are Frank's thoughts, his brain is just simply altering the memories whichever way that favors him. Frank is not ready to accept this and wants to tell Howard the real number so he can do some research on who is the real person behind all of this. But he does not remember the number, so he takes the chair and sits in front of the machine to go back into his memory. He keeps the number in his mind this time. He repeats the same day once, but while he's going to the coffee shop, something different happens. An explosion occurs that is presumably an attack by the government forces. Once he sees these explosions, he wakes up in his chamber again. Howard is gone because all systems are down and the chamber is in lockdown, meaning that the attack actually happened. He looks around and realizes he can't have food or water. The next day, he wakes up to the noise of water dripping from the roof, so he puts a glass under it to collect it and drink it. After a while, he hears a noise that sounds like a person trying to break something. He starts calling for help and manages to break the metal off of the ventilation area. He looks through the hole and sees another man who has also done the same thing. The man's name is Fletcher, and according to him, he is the leader of the anti-government resistance group. Fletcher also considers himself a prisoner here who has been trying to escape for a very long time, just like Frank, meaning that both of them are willing to work together in order to escape. He explains that the washroom was opened when the power went out, so he took out the shower pipe and can try to break the concrete wall with it. Both of them get away from the hole and start digging further. While Frank keeps talking to him, Fletcher thinks he made it through, but tells Frank that he only found more concrete. Now curious, Frank asks if Fletcher also has the same machine that alters their memories. Not only does he have the machine, but he also knows its purpose and how to beat it. He explains that it taps into your memory where you have a secret, and it keeps repeating it to find out the secret. According to Fletcher, in order to beat it, you don't have to hide your secret. You just have to open a different door. He explains this with an example by taking Frank's memory of when his dad was making pancakes. He explains that in order to hide the secret, you don't have to change everything, but only one small detail. In this case, he tells him to change it to waffles instead of pancakes. That way the whole memory becomes obsolete and the secret remains safe. After some time passes by, Frank notices that Fletcher has been very quiet for a while. When he checks up on him, he finds him in a very depressed and hopeless state. He explains that he thinks they're not going to make it out and will pass away due to starvation. Frank somewhat tries to console him. He ends up doing the unthinkable. Frank again wakes up in his chamber and wonders how the power is back. He instantly screams and calls for Fletcher, but Howard starts talking now. Frank is shocked to learn that Howard has forgotten him and that this is a new start all over again. Is this moment a memory, or was Fletcher a part of his memory? We will find out later, but for now, Frank sits down in his chair and sleeps because of exhaustion. He goes to the coffee shop again, and when Gabby tries to charge him for the coffee, he sits down in front of the counter. She sees that he is in distress, so she sits down with him. He explains that he just does not want to be scanned and shot again, and that all of this is his imagination. Gabby is chill, so she tagged along with it. Over some period of time, he keeps repeating this same moment in multiple different ways. He's calmer in the chamber and tries to use Fletcher's technique. After some time, he is in the chamber again when he realizes that Howard dies for a few seconds every now and then. He taps his thigh and counts down the exact amount of time Howard stays dead. As more time passes by, he stops replying to Howard as a way to get his system to malfunction. When Howard malfunctions, he stops for a moment, and Frank takes this opportunity to put a cloth over him, so he can't see anything. He takes the shower pipe as a weapon and sits in a corner while waiting for Howard to come back. Since Howard can't see anything, an alert is issued and gas is released so that Frank may pass out. However, he covers his face with his clothes this time. Once he survives the gas, he notices that the doors open and a robot comes in to fix things. Frank immediately attacks it with the pipe and runs out of there. After walking through the facility, he finally reaches a point from where he can leave. He comes out into the desert and immediately makes a run for it so that he can escape. After running for some time, he finally finds a store where he drinks water and takes a breath in freedom. Just when he does that, he looks around and sees the same picture of a tree in this store as well. The loop starts again as he finds himself inside the chamber once again. He is fully out of patience now and just yells at Howard or whoever is responsible for this. After recollecting his thoughts, he comes back to Howard. Now, desperate to get out of here, he just straight up tells Howard to open the doors. But he actually has a point when he mentions that Howard's only job is to keep Frank alive, and they are running out of food, so the only way to keep him alive is by opening the door. Howard really wants to agree to this, but his programming doesn't allow him to open the doors. Simultaneously, he is also walking into the coffee shop where Gabby is concerned to see him being so quiet. In the chamber, he knows exactly what he is going to do, which is why he is silent in his imagination. He takes a piece of cloth and wraps it around his neck while dragging a chair under Howard. He tells Frank that this isn't a good idea, but he still hangs himself by tying the cloth to Howard. As things are getting tense in the chamber and in his imagination, the power cuts out and the door opens to send in the robot again to fix things. Just like before, Frank beats the robot and runs out of the facility. But unlike before, he explores the facility a little bit this time and actually enters the operating room that controls Howard. He asks Frank what's out there, but he knows that no one is in this abandoned facility. Howard asks more questions about whether he can be fixed or whether Frank is coming back. At that moment, he realizes that nothing about Howard is random because he knows way too many personal details about Frank. Just when Howard mentions something that relates to Frank's father's death, he turns Howard off. He then makes his way outside of this facility into a snowy area where he wants to run away again. But before he can do that, he realizes that the trees in front of him are the same ones that he has been seeing in that picture. Frank falls to his knees at this site while two hikers come and rescue him. The news explains that Frank is the only sole survivor of an abandoned government black site. He returns to the coffee shop, where he now finds the secret this was all about. He reaches behind the picture of the trees and finds a flash drive. Frank apparently sabotaged a government operation with a computer virus, which is why all of this happened. He then meets Gabby again as he throws the flash drive into a bin, so this doesn't happen again. Gabby actually reveals her name to be Madeline, revealing that Frank has always imagined her name wrong because he didn't know her that well. As both of them talk, we think that everything is finally over, but there's a camera on the ceiling that looks just like Howard. Here, this epic movie ends. To watch more awesome and thought-provoking movie recaps, please subscribe to Film Guy Recaps. Don't forget to like this video and tell us in the comments which movie you want to see next. Goodbye for now.